And this morning, as we quickly look through the story of David and Goliath, maybe there's some things that we can just grasp from it that will help us fight our fears and phobias in our lives. What we see in 1 Samuel chapter 17 is two armies facing each other. The Philistines on one hillside, the children of Israel and their armies on the other side, and a valley in between. And certainly Israel wasn't prepared to go into the valley and become vulnerable. And as we walk through this story for a few moments this morning, maybe we can draw out a number of strategies that will help us when we're in our valley experience to become those conquerors, to become those people who actually win over. First of all, the thing I want to say is that we need to describe our problem. In verses 4 to 7, we read about Goliath. Now, most people declare that he was something like 9'9" tall. And we have a number of tall people in our church today, but it's time and a half over them, really. He was a pretty big guy. He carried a spear and he carried a javelin. He had a sword bearer out in front of him. And twice a day he would face the armies of Israel and say, "I defy you. Give me a man and let us fight each other." The word defy means really to show contempt, to taunt, to ridicule. And twice a day he would do this, and no one was prepared to stand up against him. It was quite interesting practice that happened in those days. You know, each army would choose their strongest, their best, their biggest. They would fight each other, and the winner would take all. If the Philistines won, then Israel would have to be their servants. If it was the other way round, then the Philistines would become subject to the children of Israel. And so day by day, they're faced with this phobia, with this fear, with this giant who would come and seek to devour them. How would they face up to this? Would they show great faith in their God? Or would they run away in fear? If you look at verse 11, it says they were dismayed, they were terrified, and they ran away in great fear. I wonder what giant you may be facing this morning. In what area of your life might you feel the most intimidated and overwhelmed? What is it that fills your mind when you go to bed at night? What is it that becomes the first thought when you wake up in the morning? Just using Goliath as an illustration, let me say your Goliath, your giant, doesn't carry a sword or a shield. Your giant doesn't parade up on the hills taunting you. But I believe that he does brandish the blades over your life, maybe of unemployment or rejection or sexual abuse or depression. He doesn't walk up on those hills, but he does walk through your home, through your office, through your job, through your classroom. He reminds you of bills you can't pay, grades you can't make, people you can't please, habits you can't resist, sins you can't say no to, a career that you can't escape from, a past you can't shake, and a future that you fear. That's the sort of giant that many of us have to combat in our lives on a daily basis. And so the first thing I want to say is we need to describe and own what is our problem. David, when he saw Goliath, gave him a name, not a very complimentary name. He says, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine who's facing me?" And you know, very often in our lives, we need to own up and face up and give a name to that which is against us. You know, we can give it a name, but we don't have to live in its shame. Organisations like Alcoholics Anonymous and Teen Challenge have been very successful because they encourage their clientele to put a name to their problem. Hi, my name is John and I'm an alcoholic. Hello, my name's Mary and I'm drug dependent. And you know, there's something about owning where we are and what we're facing that helps us. It gives us the first step on a road to recovery. Because you see, what happens is that when we face our giants, they start to tumble as we do it in the name of God.